what an icon. We travel to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida to talk to Buzz about his historic trip to the South Pole, the health scare that forced him to be evacuated, and the loss of his friend and colleague, John Glenn.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
July 20th, 1969. Buzz Aldrin, along with the late Neil Armstrong, become instant American icons as the first humans to step foot on the moon.
We feel that this stands as a symbol of the insatiable curiosity of all mankind to explore the unknown.
Now, nearly half a century later, Aldrin is still trying to satisfy his own curiosity. Earlier this month, the 86-year-old attempting to cross an item off his bucket list, venturing to the South Pole. However, a health scare would force him to cut the trip short. We get the news that you have to be evacuated. What happened?
I got out of breath. You know, that's nothing new, except it's a little more concentrated. It's cold, you got a lot of heavy stuff, and not much air to breathe up there.
At an elevation of 9,000 feet, Aldrin begins showing signs of altitude sickness. He's evacuated from the scientific research station and taken to a hospital in New Zealand, where he spends a week recovering from congestion in his lungs. Were you worried at all? Did you think, maybe I shouldn't have come on this trip?
When turning back is about as difficult as pressing on, you press on, because you got an objective. Especially when they tell me that I just set a record. The oldest guy to the South Pole. See, now it was worth it, really.
While he was hospitalized, Aldrin learned of the passing of his friend and fellow astronaut, John Glenn, honoring Glenn with this tweet, calling him a world space icon. The two space pioneers first met in 1953 while serving as fighter pilots during the Korean War. While you were recovering, you know, you lost a dear friend and we lost a hero in John Glenn.
Typical all-American guy. Admired that guy so much, even though he was a Marine. But he knew how to fly that airplane, I can tell you that.
An amazing man, and he's been really pioneering, trying to get people to go to Mars. He really wants, that's the next frontier. He says he's not going to go, but he's going to try to help others.
But interesting what he said about when you get to a point you may be having difficulties, but going back is as hard as going forward. Right. That's what the South Pole is all about.
I was shocked because we already had him on the books to do an interview for our Living Legends series, and when we got the word, I just knew we weren't going to get a chance to talk to him. He's amazing at 86.
Yeah, I was going to say, still tons of spunk and energy and personality, like personality plus this guy.
Absolutely.
Back to work.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.